You're listening to episode 112, Using EFT for Manifestation. Welcome to the Boss Bitch Rising podcast. My name is Coach Kael Roberts and I am your host. I am a mindset and transformational coach with over 10 years of experience as an entrepreneur. I went from being homeless in 2016 to building a multiple six-figure online coaching business. I am passionate about those that I have the opportunity to serve, and so I'm grateful you're here. My coaching method combines science, spirituality, and strategy, which elicits powerful transformations, leading you to massive elevation in your success. I am the founder of the Collective Conscious Coaching Academy, Institute for coaches, mentors, leaders, guides, and healers. This is where I develop influential, heart-centered people. I share weekly episodes inside the Boss Bitch Rising podcast where I discuss subjects like psychology, the subconscious mind, human energetics, manifestation, business strategy, and more. I'm excited to hop into our next episode and I'm so grateful you're here. Now let's rise up. Welcome back, my loves, to the Boss Bitch Rising podcast. As always, I'm so grateful you're here with me in today's episode, and I'm excited because this is the first solo episode that I've recorded in quite some time. In February, I recorded a series all around love and relationships and how to just have better love and relationships, how to cultivate more love energy into your life. So if you haven't yet listened to those episodes, make sure you're going back into February's series on love and relationships. Now, I've been collaborating so much with so many people over the last few weeks, and I've got a lot that I want to catch you up on, but I will soon, very soon, I will record an episode kind of filling you in on all the things that have been happening over the last few months, where I'm at with the coaching and leadership certifications, and what is happening next in my business. So stay tuned because that episode will be released 2 episodes from now in episode 114. But today's episode is all around how to use EFT for manifestation. Now, you might be wondering, what is EFT? EFT is Emotional Freedom Technique, otherwise known as tapping or EFT tapping, and it's an alternative therapy which is commonly used for anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, better known as PTSD, and a variety of other conditions. And according to the developers of EFT, which is Gary Craig, he's the main dude here, tapping on different parts of the body helps to balance the energy within the body and also reduces physical and emotional pain. I got certified as an EFT practitioner back in 2019, and I've been utilizing it within my personal life, but also in my business since then. And let me tell you, it has been one of the most powerful tools when used in tandem with manifestation. Now, of course, there's other modalities that we can use for manifestation work as well, but I really want to tell you kind of the ins and outs of what EFT is, how you can start to utilize it in your own life, and how to use it for manifestation. EFT is a 5-step technique that helps you to identify challenging thoughts or emotions that are not positively serving you and allows you to move through these thoughts or emotions without having to suppress them, ignore them, or numb them. And this can be deeply healing and empowering for all different types of life challenges. Some things that I've used EFT for is for stress management, anxiety. If I feel like I'm on the verge of having like a panic attack or going down a very negative spiral of thinking or, emotional feelings, I've used EFT. It's been like such a lifesaver in those types of instances. I've also used it when I've been feeling angry or having feelings of like guilt or shame come up. Anything triggering from my past, I've used it there too. I've used EFT for physical pain or other physical issues. I have chronic like neck and back problems that I've been constantly using EFT for recently, and let me tell you how powerful it has been in just getting me past those feelings and emotions. I also recently used it when I was upset with somebody. I didn't really understand certain actions they were taking, and I was taking it personally, and I needed to get out of that thought process, and I was using EFT for that. I've also used EFT for phobias. If you know anything about me, you know habitually in my past I've had a large fear around public speaking, especially like showing up online. And I've been doing a lot of speaking events recently, and I've been using EFT to overcome the feeling of fear when I'm getting up in front of people to speak. EFT is such a powerful tool. There's so many amazing ways to use EFT or challenges to use EFT for. You can also use it, overcoming blocks with your goals. Like if you're feeling blocked in a certain area, you can use EFT for that. You can use EFT for spiritual growth, for abundance blocks. You can also use it for like sports performance, losing weight. I mean, there is just so many amazing ways that you can use EFT. So a couple of the most common ways that I've used EFT was to help me overcome my fear of public speaking. Using EFT to overcome phobias is a great way to utilize EFT, and I've specifically used it kind of leading up to different speaking events, whether it's in-person speaking events or online. I had kind of a fear of showing up at both. Of course, for me, speaking live in person at events was way worse of a feeling for me than showing up online and speaking to a group of people, but I still had that feeling arise in both situations. So I started using EFT regularly leading up to certain speaking events, where I would tap the certain meridian points that are designated for the EFT tapping process, and I would go through the 5-step process of tapping. And I would fully embody what it feels like to feel confident in the process of using EFT. And there's a process to this that I would definitely love to teach you if you are interested in utilizing EFT to overcome fears or help get past blocks that you're, coming up to with your goals and going to achieve your goals. Or if you want to utilize EFT for manifestation, I would love to run through a breakthrough session, which is just a one-time session with me. You book at your convenience. I would love to teach you this modality so that you could utilize this for your own personal life. But I've used EFT tapping for phobias specifically and my fear of public speaking significantly over the last 8 to 10 months. And I will tell you how much transformation that I've seen in that specific area of my life. And I accredit most of that transformation due to EFT. I will intentionally get into a space of utilizing EFT where I'll envision myself kind of getting into the space of the public speaking, whether it's in the online space or live and in person, and I'll run through the EFT modality. And I will do this several times prior to a speaking event so that I am regulating my nervous system and getting into a space of feeling grounded and more confident in that setting. I did a speaking event back in November, which was my true test because that was my first speaking event in months. And the one that I did prior to that, I definitely was feeling very, very nervous, and I knew that I needed to help me help myself. And that's when I started utilizing, in those 2.5-3 months between the speaking events, I started utilizing EFT regularly, really tapping into the feeling of being confident, grounded. I speak eloquently and clearly, my message comes through, and the feeling that I had prior to the event that I spoke at in August and the event that I spoke at in November, there was a significant improvement from how nervous I was, and there was a significant improvement at how well I spoke. And then I spoke at another event in December, and again, a huge improvement because I continued to utilize EFT. I spoke at another event in January and another event in February, and let me tell you, from November to February, the difference in the feeling that I had coming into these live events, and then the execution of actually being there live and in person, I allowed myself to be fully present instead of in my head, which is what I usually was because I was so afraid what other people were going to think of me. I totally accredit getting past that fear of public speaking due to EFT tapping and doing it regularly. And I've also utilized it in a sense, not just to focus so much on the fear, but also focus on what I'm calling in. What do I want to feel? Instead of feeling nervousness and scared and, the sweaty palms and the jitters and all of that, what would I like to feel instead? And then embodying that through the EFT process. And I want to really go into that a little bit more in this episode today. We're going to get into that just a little bit later. And this is kind of like how you can utilize EFT for manifestation. But I wanted to make one more point of how you can use EFT before we get into the manifestation part of this episode. You can also utilize EFT for overcoming blocks in unison with your goals. Now, of course, if you're a high achiever or if you've gone to achieve anything that you've never achieved before in your life, you're likely going to come to challenges, obstacles, blocks, whether it's an actual physical block in your reality or if it's a mental emotional block. And I have utilized EFT for this because in the moment of coming up to these challenges, we can become overwhelmed or feel like giving up or be scared because it's like, well, I've never dealt with this before. How do I actually overcome this? And utilizing EFT tapping for these specific moments is beautiful in helping you regulate your nervous system, but also opening you up to better possible outcomes. Many times when we're pursuing our goals and we're coming up to challenges, when we've done things we've never done before and we're hit with a challenge, and sometimes it's left and right, this can become like nerve-wracking, legitimately, literally nerve-wracking, where our nervous system goes haywire. And in the pursuit of becoming emotionally self-regulated, learning techniques like EFT can be a powerful tool because now you're learning how to ground your emotions, feel into your emotions, especially the not so good feeling emotions, and then learn how to navigate through those emotions so you can come out on the other side of the emotion, not ignoring it, not suppressing it, but honoring those not so good feeling emotions, and then coming out on the other side of that emotion feeling liberated because now you've opened yourself up to newer possibilities. It's just so beautiful because so many of us spend most of our life being taught that we need to suppress and neglect those not so good feeling emotions. We're not allowed to even feel them. We have to ignore that they're even there. And that's where, that pent up rage or anger or sadness and depression stem from, is not actually turning into the emotion. And I know that might sound scary. If you're not used to connecting into your emotions, actually turning towards your emotion and embracing it can feel scary at first if you don't have the proper tools to appropriately step into that. And that's part of the reason why I'm so passionate about holding the space for people, a safe space for people, especially people who are afraid of, taking that next step forward into learning themselves more deeply, learning their emotions more deeply, and healing in that process. Then coming out on the other side, knowing how to emotionally self-regulate, and now having a more positive emotional experience in their life, even when they're not feeling those, stereotypical good emotions. Even when they're feeling angry, they can express anger in a healthy way. Even when they're feeling sad, they can express sadness and, feel supported in their emotions because they are emotionally self-regulated. And that's part of the foundation of what EFT provides. It's just such a beautiful modality. I am so grateful for this modality and having learned it and taught it to so many people. It's been such a game changer in my life. I've watched it change and transform the realities for a lot of clients, and I'm passionate about teaching other people. If you're curious or at all interested, book a free call with me. I have an EFT practitioner's certification course where if you want to utilize this inside of your coaching business, this would be a beautiful addition into those other modalities that you provide, and it can be equally transformative for yourself as well. If you want to book this free call with me so we can discuss more of those details, what this journey looks like for you at becoming a certified EFT practitioner, just go to my website, kaelroberts.com/links, LINKS. You'll find that free call button right there. You can book that at your convenience, and I can't wait to get connected with you. Now, as we transition here into this next part of our episode, I want to talk about utilizing EFT for manifestation. Now, you might have the question, like, what can't we use EFT for? It seems like it's, you're able to use it for literally everything. And truthfully, you really can. You can use it for those not good feeling emotions. You can use it for stress and anxiety. You can use it for physical pain. You can also use it for manifestation. And that's something that I've been playing around with and kind of experimenting with over the last several months. This wasn't necessarily taught to me when I learned EFT. It wasn't taught to me as if I will utilize it for manifestation, but using it so much in every other aspect of my life to overcome those not so good feeling emotions, I'm like, why can't I? This is totally going to enhance my manifestation experience, and I'll tell you why. So I do something called a sensory stimulation visualization meditation. I know it's a mouthful. Sensory stimulation visualization meditation. This encompasses the aspect of our five senses. That's touch, taste, sound, smell, and sight. Now, some of our senses are easier to incorporate into meditations, and other ones like touch and taste sometimes can be a little bit more tricky. Now, I always suggest when I'm kind of introducing people to sensory stimulation visualization meditations, I always introduce it in the way of find what feels good for you. Find what's comforting, find what brings you joy. And maybe you're going to discover, sights, sounds, tastes, or touches that you don't necessarily like. And that's okay too. But when you find a scent that's really pleasant to you, or that triggers a memory in your mind that, takes you back in time to a positive memory, a positive emotion, this can actually enhance the experience of visualization meditations, specifically when we're utilizing it for manifestation. So our subconscious mind is so powerful. And, it's also really easily manipulated in a sense, where our subconscious mind cannot tell the difference between something imagined and something that's actually taking place. So this is kind of why dreams feel so real. Our subconscious mind can't tell the difference between the two. Well, when we're doing these visualization meditations, we're creating imagery. And the more real and robust we can create this experience, the realer it becomes in our mind. And the more often that we do this, this actually tricks or manipulates our subconscious mind to thinking that this is our actual reality. So incorporating aspects of touch, taste, sound, smell, and sight, or, imagination is the sight aspect there. Incorporating this into your sensory stimulation visualization meditations is a powerful way to enhance the manifestation process. Now, utilizing EFT with this is the touch aspect. We are tapping on energy meridian points in the body, and this actually activates and awakens energy centers within the body when doing these visualizations. And then if we're also coupling that with affirmations in tandem with the manifestation work, again, it just continues to enhance this experience. But if we're incorporating the touch aspect and touching these power centers, the energy meridian points within the body, we're literally activating and awakening these energy centers. Again, creating this crazy powerful experience with manifestation. Now we're utilizing the touch aspect through EFT. If there's a sound that makes you feel high vibe, or a sound that makes you get further into this visualization meditation experience, then now you can start to incorporate those sounds. Same goes for taste. Taste can be a little bit harder, but I like to utilize, citrus flavors, or drinking some tea, or just having something. If I want to utilize the aspect of taste, having something that's pleasant that can also be incorporated, where I'm just sipping on something herbal that's nice, that's light, that's pleasant. Of course, I would suggest or recommend that you stay away from things like alcohol during this visualization meditation experience, as well as anything high in sugar or caffeine. Why? This actually inhibits the power that we want to bring into this. This can be a numbing aspect. A lot of people are very addicted to caffeine. sugar, or alcohol. And so when we're bringing these aspects in, it actually can cut off the power that is otherwise utilized during these experiences. It kind of like redirects your thought process or can get you into a different state of mind. Again, because on a subconscious level, the caffeine, the alcohol, and the sugar can actually stimulate parts of your brain that trigger things on a subconscious level that you might not consciously be aware of. So that's the reason why I, just recommend that you stay away from alcohol, sugar, or caffeine during these sensory meditations, and sticking to something like an herbal tea or infused waters, that kind of a thing. Then moving into the other aspects. Having maybe meditation music play, or you can have a affirmation soundtrack that's playing as well. When we're starting to bring in these different aspects, this creates on a subconscious level an even more real, robust experience that's speaking directly to our subconscious mind and further enhancing the manifestation power. So tying it all back in, when we're utilizing EFT, we can do, these sensory meditation experiences. We can also use EFT for just simple affirmation work, especially if you're doing affirmation work in the mirror work. Tapping on these energy meridian points while you're doing this affirmation work can instill and literally anchor in those affirmations. There's just so many beautiful ways that we can start to utilize EFT in our manifestation work. And I'm passionate. Obviously, you can probably tell how passionate I am about talking about EFT because it's been just such a game changer, a beautiful game changer in my life over the last several months. I've seen what it's done for me and showing up, not only in the online space, but also showing up in person and speaking at events. That was something that absolutely fucking terrified me. To say it so bluntly. So that's the reason why I'm just so passionate about teaching others the power of EFT. So my love, if you are interested in either going through a breakthrough session where I guide you through this modality for specific phobias, fears, or manifestation work, please click that link on my website, kaelroberts.com/links, and book a free call with me. Or if you want to become an EFT practitioner, not only utilize this in your life, but also utilize it in the transformations that you're providing for your clients, also kaelroberts.com/links, book that free call. It's a 30-minute connection call. I want to get to know you, and I love getting to know my listeners through these connection calls. Even if we choose not to work together, I still love that I am able to connect with my audience, my people, and it makes me feel like I'm able to speak directly into challenges, problems, things that you're interested in hearing more about. So again, if you want to book a breakthrough session with me, or if you're interested in becoming an EFT practitioner, go to kaelroberts.com/links and book that free call. Of course, my love, I am so grateful you are with me in today's episode. And until next week, my love. Thank you for joining me in today's episode. I am so grateful you are here with us today. If you loved today's episode, take a screenshot, share it on social media, and tag me in it, because not only do I love to feel all the love, but I also love to hear your feedback. I love connecting with my audience, so let's get connected on social media. Find me, I am The Kael Collective on Instagram and kael.collective on TikTok. I love sharing value as much as I can, so I would love to get connected with you more further. Until next time, my love, rise up.